Hello, everybody. Richard Tromans here again, Artificial Lawyer TV. Today we're doing another walkthrough. This time it's LawDroid, the legal automation company. With us to tell us all about it is Tom Martin. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Richard.
Well, I think there's the best way to do this is for you to just show us a bit of a walkthrough.
All right, happy to do that, and thank you for having me on. I'd like to show everyone a bot I've created called Arthur, the term sheet author, and he's a pretty good example of what you could do with LawDroid to automate conversation, interview, and then creating documents. So as you can see here, the system is pretty intuitive. It is kind of like a flowchart. So if you can create a flowchart, you can create a bot. The first is to just welcome everyone. And this kind of gives you an idea of what you can do within LawDroid. You can create text, images, put buttons in there. And so first it just introduces itself and then walks you to the next building block, which is purpose. Now these blocks, as we call them, can be fit together kind of like Legos to make a legal document. So here, this purpose, this is describing the purpose of this bot to the user, explaining a little bit about what it can do. This is to help people with funding under the Seed Enterprise Investment Scheme. And if they want to continue, they click continue. Now, an interesting part and necessary part of any bot is qualification. So you don't want people to use it that aren't qualified for it or shouldn't be using it. So we set up a filter here where we ask them if they're carrying on a qualifying trade and if they're established in the UK and so on. This leads to them saying yes or no, and dependent on if they answer yes or no, they go in different directions in this conversation. Pretty easy. And so through just clicking some buttons, they get through this dialogue. A disclaimer is provided that this is not an attorney per se. This is a legal assistant that's helping. And once we get through this, there's some interview questions that are asked to fill out the document. All of these are captured in variables that we call attributes. And all of the attributes are stored in our database. And once the person completes the entire process, it creates the term sheet through an integration that we have where you upload a Word document, you fill it in with the attributes that you've created, and it will kick that out. So if you're wondering what this looks like from the front end, this is what a user would experience. They go through this interview, and it's very simple, just clicking buttons, yes or no. There are actually some ad hoc questions that could be answered through an integration we have with Dialogflow. So for example, if somebody had a question about what a pre-money valuation is, Arthur is good enough to be able to recognize that keyword for pre-money valuation and serve up an answer explaining what it is. And so the user can go through a number of questions, get those answered, and as soon as they're comfortable, start the interview. And then they provide all of the fill in the blanks for the form, the name of the founder, the company, how much investment they're looking for, how much of a percentage they're looking to give up, shares of stock they own, the investor, Richard Branson, Sir Richard Branson, and all the other information. And we have this handy dandy review here where we review the answers with the user before we move on to make sure that we got it all correct. And they could edit it if they need to. And once this is all done, they just click download on that document. And in a second, let me show you the Word document. So here you can see that the term sheet has been completed, and the variables that we offered have been filled in. And then at the very end, there we go.
Got it. Fantastic. So you would be using LawDroid primarily for doc automation.
It can be used for document automation. I think that's one of the most valuable uses of it, where you can take a routine interview that a lawyer would hold with someone to create a document, to create that document, but it could also be used as an expert system. It is possible to set up if-then conditional logic within LawDroid. So that way you can filter people through. We actually have an implementation with Patrick Palace where it identifies and triages a number of legal issues by asking questions and then providing a self-help report to users. So it's quite comprehensive in the different types of use cases it could handle.
Gotcha. And the I guess there's 3 bits, aren't there? You got your first bit, which is effectively the back end, where you're creating the workflow. You've got the you might say the template of the bot, which then people respond with, the interface, and then you've got the output, which is that document, or maybe it's a document with your answers from an expert system. But the first bit, the back end, I mean, how easy is that to use to build one of those workflows?
Well, I have a great example of that. Just recently, a professor at the University of Oklahoma approached me about having his students in a type of competition create a bot in LawDroid where they were automating 3 different family law documents. And so initially, I only had the initial meeting with them where I showed them exactly what I showed you. And from there, I told them, hey, if you have any questions, if you have anything come up, call me. I'm here to help you, because I really wanted to make sure that they succeeded and that it wasn't just because of some problem with LawDroid that they wouldn't succeed. So I never heard from them again, and I got kind of freaked out. And then just recently, I got a video from the professor saying, look, they really knocked it out of the park. And I saw that not only had they understood what I taught them, but everything else that they could do with the system. It was really impressive. And I think it was a good testament to how intuitive it is that 3 students were able to figure it out and create this really comprehensive solution.
Fantastic. Thanks, Tom.
Thank you, Richard.